Hi everybody, welcome to another video. I have put off doing this for so long and it's literally the tiniest thing on my to-do list. And so I thought this week I'm just going to sit down and I'm going to finally do it. And I am talking about taking care of my Seeknit needles. Now I've recently moved, and while going through my needles I noticed that some of the brass on my original Seeknit needles has tarnished a bit, and that some of the cables are coiled really tightly from being stored in a round coil. And I've also noticed while knitting with them that for some of them the yarn doesn't glide over as nicely anymore as it used to. And so I thought it's time to just give them a bit of TLC. If you are new here, hi and welcome. My name is Maria, and on this channel I just love to talk about all things knitting. I've got knit and chat videos, I've got reviews about things like the Seeknit needles, I have deep dives into certain knitting topics like what yarns are best to use for summer knits, and I also love to vlog my knitting life here in Glasgow and take you along for the journey. So if that sounds like your jam, then maybe consider subscribing. Now, since you've clicked on this video, I'm assuming that you know a little bit about Seeknit needles, but if you don't, I'm referring you to one of my review videos up here where I'm talking about the Seeknit Curve range and comparing it back to the original range. Essentially, Seeknit has sort of two groups of needles. One is what I always call the Seeknit original range because that came out first and they have brass connectors. And then another range that came out, I think at the beginning of this year, is called Seeknit Curve, and they have stainless steel connectors. And one of the biggest differences between the two is that the stainless steel connectors are way smoother from the nylon cord onto the stainless steel and onto the bamboo than the original range is. And there's also a change in the type of connectors that you have, and the curve range is only available in a hardened bamboo version. So a few differences, but I think they are quite big differences in the comfort of knitting with them. I bought the original range about 3 years ago, and so I feel like there was definitely a noticeable difference in how the yarn glides across the bamboo. And you can see that there's some tarnishing along the brass connectors. And because I store the cords in a round shape, the cords are very coiled now and it's fairly hard to uncoil them when I want to knit with it. So we are going to go through taking care of the cable, the brass, and the bamboo part as well. Right, so let's get started and take care of the cables first maybe. To take care of the cords and get them to lie flat again, the Seeknit team recommended getting a bowl with boiling water and then taking a coiled up cable, untangling it, and just letting it sink into the water for 30 seconds. But making sure that you leave out the brass connectors or your steel connectors if you're using the curve range. Oh, that worked a treat. And then I'm just going to dry it off on this towel here. That worked absolutely brilliantly. I'm just going to do a before and after. I hope you can see this well, but it's all coiled up here. And now look at that, it doesn't even fit on the screen anymore. It's completely flat. So that worked really, really well. I was not really expecting it to be completely untangling them like that. I think what I'll do though is I will use that trick as and when I need the different cables. Because of the way that the spaces in the pouches, I will just have to coil them up again. So I think the same thing will just happen again. But if I do that just before I need the cable, I know that I can knit with it without any coiling up or tangling. So yeah, I'm very chuffed. That worked super nicely. On to looking at the brass. So for this part, we'll obviously need our needles, some WD-40, so any penetrating lubricant. This is what they recommend on the website, and I think this is really easily available, and also an old cloth that you can get dirty. So they say to spray some of the WD-40 on the cloth and then rub it just on the brass part. Let's just try and get some close-ups of these needles. You can see a little bit of where it's tarnished. It's very, very subtle, so I don't actually think I'd need to do this, but I just, for the sake of completion, I kind of want to give it a go. Let's see if we can see a difference. This was just clean, this is still old. Oh yeah, I think. Okay, definitely by eye you can. This looks way more shiny than the left one. What do you think? Okay, let's continue on with the other ones. I think when you're doing this, what you want to make sure is that whatever you're using to polish your brass doesn't get onto the needles too much or could harm the needles. I think that's why they might be recommending this type of a lubricant rather than anything with acids in it. That's just what I assume. I feel like I didn't quite realize how many of these needles I have, but seeing them all out, it seems like quite a lot. But I do use them. I use them all the time. And if I can, then I'll use my curve range. But if I don't have the right size in the curve range, I'll go with the original ones. And I just love them. As I've said in all the other videos, I feel like needles are such a personal thing. And it's just depending on how much you like your yarn to glide over your needles, how much resistance you like. It's also a sensory thing, it's a sound thing. If you don't like the way that bamboo needles sound, then it's just maybe not for you. But I personally I just love the resistance that they give. I always think it's just the right amount. But then I also feel like you can feel when the resistance increases a bit. And so I'm really excited for this next part. I'll just finish up polishing all these brass elements and then I'll catch you when it's time to polish the actual needle. Right, I got all my needles here. I've got my knitwear wax stick and I also have a new clean cloth here. Right, so let's just cut into it. I will link the wax and also the WD-40 down below with an Amazon link so that you can get it if you want it. I've actually just seen it comes with some instructions of what you're supposed to do, and it says apply carefully with the lathe running, using the heat generated to melt a thin layer of wax onto your work. Apply sparingly and buff to a high gloss using a safety cloth. I don't know what a safety cloth is. I just have a microfiber cloth. We're just gonna see. We're just gonna give it a go. So I don't think you're gonna be able to see a difference here. I think it's just going to make a difference in the feel of it. So yeah, we're just going to try. And I'm just going to do the tip. I'm being a bit more forceful now because I feel like the wax is really cold and there's actually nothing happening. Right, let's just polish it. Okay, let's see if I can feel a difference. Oh yeah, you can feel a difference. Oh, I think we might, oh yeah, you can actually see it as well. Yeah, I think you can see it on the camera as well. This one has been polished and this one hasn't. That's so cool. I would not have been thinking you could see a difference. But this feels like when they first came out of the box. That's crazy. All right, let's do the other ones. Okay, I think I'm just going to use the engraving as the starting point because then I know where I need to stop. because it says to be sparing with it. Oh, I just dented that. No. Be careful, guys. Be careful. No, this has got sharp edges, and I think I just dented my needle from the sharp edge there. No. Okay, guys, be careful because you can quite easily dent the shirataki ones. Oh well. I think I just lay them flat on the ground and just carefully rub it on top. Definitely be here a while, so might as well get comfy. So that was fun. I think I definitely should have done this way sooner. I really enjoyed myself actually. I was just sitting here, cleaning my little needles, taking care of them, and watching a Christmas movie. I really enjoyed myself. I hope you've learned something. What I'd definitely say is if you're using the Carnauba wax, be careful. It's a very hard wax and it doesn't melt very easily, also not with your hand. I mean, it is cold in here, but it doesn't melt very easily, and it's got sharp edges, and so they can indent some of your needles, especially if you have the shirataki ones, which are softer than the koshitsu ones. But I think it made a real difference. It looks and feels as if they're brand new again, and I just love taking care of things that serve me so well day to day. If you enjoy content like this, then consider subscribing. If you want to know more about the Seeknit needles, remember I've got 2 review videos up already, and I will get back to my whip now and enjoy some newly polished needles. So I hope you have a lovely rest of the day. Thank you for spending some time with me, and I'll see you soon. Bye!